Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a mind-numbing and absolutely world-shattering development that no Sister Wives fan could have ever predicted, Kody Brown and Robyn Brown have been arrested in connection with an alleged child trafficking investigation, plunging the entire Brown family into utter chaos and igniting a wildfire of speculation, betrayal, and emotional collapse. It all began with whispers, anonymous reports, sealed documents, and strange online chatter that something disturbing had been brewing behind the scenes at Coyote Pass. But when police issued a formal arrest warrant and footage emerged of Kody and Robyn being taken into custody in handcuffs, fans went into full shock. According to unconfirmed reports swirling through social media and tabloid leaks, investigators had been quietly looking into Kody and Robyn's activities for months, particularly after a series of financial irregularities, suspicious adoptions, and questionable private family arrangements raised serious red flags. The charges, still under wraps due to the sensitive nature of the case, are believed to involve not only trafficking but conspiracy, obstruction, and abuse of guardianship laws that span multiple states. Meri&Janelle, who had been suspicious for some time, were reportedly blindsided by the scope of the operation. Both women believed Kody was just continuing his pattern of emotional manipulation, but they never imagined they'd be dragged into the fallout of a federal investigation. Betrayal doesn't even begin to cover what they're feeling. Janelle, who always defended Kody for the sake of her kids, allegedly broke down upon hearing the news, stating through tears that she never thought it would come to this, while Meri, who had distanced herself from the family in recent months, now feels like the ultimate fool for ever giving Robyn the benefit of the doubt. Robyn, who fans long accused of isolating Kody and trying to rebuild the family in her image, now finds herself at the center of something far darker, allegedly using her manipulative charm and strategic parenting decisions to mask deeper, criminal behavior. What makes this even more chilling is that the younger children were often filmed under her care, with Robyn constantly pushing her model family image to TLC producers. Many are now wondering, what did TLC know, and when did they know it? And how could they have possibly aired scenes involving children if something sinister was happening behind the scenes? And then there's Christine Brown, who has now been dragged into a nightmare she never asked for. Christine, who finally found peace, love, and a new life with David Woolley after years of surviving Kody's verbal abuse and emotional neglect, is reportedly completely destroyed by the news. Not only is she terrified for the safety of her grandchildren and heartbroken that she may have unknowingly been part of a facade, but sources close to her say she feels like her entire existence has been shattered. Her daughter Mykelti is reportedly cooperating with authorities, having grown suspicious about certain past events, while Gwendolyn, who has always been outspoken about the dysfunction within the family, posted a cryptic tweet reading, "Told you. No one listened." Christine is said to be suffering from extreme anxiety, fearing that everything she believed she had escaped is now chasing her all over again. She thought she was free, an insider claims. Now, she feels like her past is bleeding into her future, and worse, threatening her children. The arrest sent shockwaves across the Flagstaff and broader polygamist community, sparking debates about what happens when spiritual authority is mixed with unchecked power. Authorities are reportedly reviewing old footage, unreleased outtakes, and contracts that may contain clauses shielding the Browns from certain liabilities. If TLC is found to have ignored red flags, lawsuits may be incoming. Meanwhile, Kody reportedly told officers during his arrest that this was all a misunderstanding, but insiders claim that his house was raided days earlier and several confidential files were taken into evidence, including mysterious documents allegedly signed by Robyn involving guardianship of non-biological children. Robyn, for her part, went completely silent during her arrest, sobbing uncontrollably, but refusing to speak to the press or even request legal representation for hours. Viewers have long suspected that the family's legal navigation of custody issues was sketchy, especially during the transition from Vegas to Flagstaff and amid Robyn's controversial divorce from her first husband, which allegedly paved the way for Kody's legal adoption of her children. Now, all of those carefully placed legal bricks may be coming undone. The broader Brown family is crumbling. Several adult children have deleted photos of Kody from their social media accounts, while others are posting cryptic messages about accountability, healing, and justice. Paydon and Leon are both rumored to be speaking to lawyers. And amid the emotional wreckage, one thing is clear. Whatever Sister Wives once was, a story about family, resilience, and alternative lifestyles, has now turned into a haunting cautionary tale about power, manipulation, and what happens when reality TV hides a horrifying truth. With federal charges looming, custody of minor children in flux, and the entire family under the microscope, this saga is far from over. And for Meri, Janelle, and Christine, the nightmare may just be beginning. The world watched in stunned silence as police lights flashed across the quiet cul-de-sac where Kody and Robyn Brown had been hiding in plain sight. In a case that has exploded across every social media platform, law enforcement confirmed what many had dismissed as unthinkable. Kody Brown and his so-called favorite wife, Robyn, had been arrested in connection to an ongoing investigation into child trafficking, a bombshell scandal that has ripped the Sister Wives universe to shreds. Fans who had followed the family for over a decade, watching births, weddings, and breakups, were now watching a perp walk. Kody, disheveled, eyes wild with disbelief, was handcuffed and let out of his once proud home as Robyn sobbed hysterically, clinging to a child as if to stage an image of innocence. But it was too late. The evidence had spoken. Behind their carefully curated spiritual lifestyle, police uncovered a horrifying trail of sealed documents, falsified adoptions, and custodial transfers that bypass legal channels, all connected to an underground network that investigators claim had ties to international trafficking rings. The accusations are staggering, and while formal charges are still emerging, sources close to the investigation say this wasn't just about negligence or paperwork mistakes. It was an intentional operation, and the Browns were allegedly not innocent bystanders. The betrayal hit hardest for Meri and Janelle, who were blindsided. For years, they had distanced themselves from Kody and Robyn, weary of the favoritism and manipulation, but nothing could have prepared them for the revelation that the man they once loved, the man they raised children with, was capable of such horrifying deception. Meri was reportedly hospitalized for a panic attack after the arrest, a source close to her saying, "She kept whispering, I didn't know, over and over." And Janelle, usually the rock, the strategist, the calm amid chaos, broke down in front of her children. "He lied to us all," she said through tears in a leaked family group chat. "This wasn't just cheating or abandonment. This is evil. And we let it grow under our roof." But the collapse of trust was nothing compared to the emotional destruction left in Christine's wake. Already shattered from years of emotional manipulation, Christine's world caved in completely. Her connection to Kody had been severed long ago, but never in her darkest imaginings did she see the father of her children being dragged away in handcuffs on live television. Her sobs were recorded by neighbors as she collapsed in her driveway upon hearing the news. "It's over," she reportedly said. "Everything I built, my family, my faith, my story, it's all a lie." Christine, who had fought so hard to rebuild herself, to show the world a woman rising from polygamy's ashes, was now facing the possibility that her children were mere steps away from the heart of an international crime story. Her daughters were inconsolable, one of them screaming, "I want to change my name." The aftermath is catastrophic. TLC immediately issued a statement distancing themselves from the Browns and suspending all filming, pending legal outcomes. Former crew members have begun speaking out, claiming that they were uncomfortable with how much control Robyn exerted over the household and questioning why certain children were never shown on camera. Theories that once lived in obscure Reddit threads and back-alley podcasts have now taken center stage, and the FBI is reportedly collaborating with state agencies to trace the full extent of the Browns' activities. Even more chilling, anonymous sources suggest that Robyn's mysterious financial records, sealed LLCs, and her insistence on private guardianship arrangements are now under forensic investigation. But beyond the legal fallout, The emotional carnage is unthinkable. Friends of the family say the Brown children are reeling, some cutting off contact with their parents entirely, others paralyzed with confusion, guilt, and rage. Paydon posted a cryptic video saying only, "I always knew something was wrong. But not this." Michael T. and Tony have gone into hiding with their twins. Gwendolyn released a video condemning both Kody and Robyn, saying she would testify if she had to. In the public eye, the reaction has been swift and merciless. Hashtags like #KodyBrownTrafficking and #JusticeForTheKids have trended globally, with even former polygamous community members speaking out and demanding a deeper look into the culture that allowed such unchecked power. Political figures are calling for new child welfare legislation named after the Brown children, and national networks are scrambling to produce documentaries, exposés, and breaking news specials. But for the Brown women left in the wreckage, especially Meri, Janelle, and Christine, no amount of media coverage can undo the betrayal. They are broken, humiliated, haunted by what they missed, what they allowed, and what it cost. Christine, in particular, has reportedly retreated from all media appearances and may be seeking full custody reevaluations for the younger children. She issued one final message to her fans: "Please don't celebrate this. Please don't say, 'I told you so.' This isn't drama. This is tragedy. My heart is gone. My life is over." As the legal system churns forward, charging Kody and Robyn with crimes that could put them behind bars for decades, one truth rings louder than all the others. The family once marketed as a beacon of spiritual love is now exposed as a house of horror. And the rest of the Browns? They're left to pick up the pieces of a shattered legacy that may never be whole again. And as federal authorities continued their round-the-clock raids, digging into storage units, tracing cryptic transactions, and interviewing former nannies, midwives, and guardians once praised on the show, the reality of what Kody and Robyn may have been involved in began to unspool like a horror novel. The most chilling detail? A journal. Found inside a locked chest in a back closet of Robyn's master suite, investigators confirmed that it belonged to her. In it were scribbled notes, pages of thoughts written in Robyn's distinct cursive, detailing methods of rehoming, references to non-legal custody exchanges, and disturbing entries about removing negative energy from disobedient spirits. Several pages were blacked out entirely, and experts have since confirmed that redacted sections had to be chemically altered to recover. These pages, now sealed in evidence, allegedly contain references to children being guided spiritually to families more deserving. What did that mean? Authorities wouldn't comment further, but legal analysts said the implications were staggering. Even more disturbing, investigators uncovered a paper trail linking Robyn to a now-defunct wellness nonprofit that claimed to help place children from broken polygamous homes into morally sound environments. But behind the charity speak lay financial transactions routed through Belize and the Cayman Islands, with large cash withdrawals labeled simply as family transition stipends. Meri, informed by law enforcement that some of these transfers were initiated while she still lived on the same property, collapsed in shock. "They used our name, our reputation, our children to launder pain," she told a source close to her inner circle. He used the Sister Wives platform as a shield. And Robyn? She was the architect. Janelle, always measured and logical, took a different approach. Days after the arrest, she delivered a raw, emotional statement via Instagram Live, one that clocked over 18 million views within 72 hours. "I don't know what hurts more," she said, staring directly into the camera, "that the man I once believed in is gone, or that the woman I defended for years was capable of this level of betrayal. Kody didn't just break our marriage. He broke the law. He broke the souls of innocent kids. And I stood beside him for decades thinking we were doing something sacred." Meanwhile, Christine's silence has only deepened the pain. She deleted all public accounts after releasing her statement, and insiders say she is barely functioning. Friends claim she hasn't eaten in days and has been inconsolable, repeating only the phrase, "How could he do this to our babies?" over and over. One source close to the family claimed that Isabel, Christine's daughter, was among the first to discover the arrest through a trending TikTok notification and screamed. She thought it was a joke, but then she saw the footage. Her dad in cuffs, Robyn in the back of the cruiser. It broke her. It broke all of them. Former Brown children have now begun coming forward anonymously, offering testimony to authorities, some speaking of disappearances of young family friends, others of mysterious people visiting the home late at night, always for religious consultations. One chilling detail? A now-adult Brown sibling recalled Robyn telling them never to ask about the guests who stayed in the basement of her home in Flagstaff. "Just pray for them," Robyn would whisper. "They're being moved to something greater." Meanwhile, federal prosecutors are building a case that could result in a minimum 25-year sentence each. The conspiracy charges alone span multiple states, with trafficking, fraud, and obstruction topping the list. If convicted, Kody and Robyn may never see the outside of a prison wall again. But that hasn't stopped Robyn's loyalists from trying to spin the narrative. A GoFundMe set up by a shadowy supporter group titled "Free the True Spiritual Leaders" was shut down within hours after raising nearly $80,000 from what one insider called a cult-like digital flock. But the tide has turned. Networks are pulling reruns. Sponsors are fleeing. And TLC, under immense pressure, has canceled all Brown-related programming indefinitely. Sister Wives Legacy, which was meant to follow the next generation of Browns, has been shelved. The series finale, filmed months prior, is now under legal review after producers feared it contained statements that could be used in court. In one scene, yet unreleased, Robyn reportedly boasts about her special calling to protect spirits others abandoned. Editors, reviewing the footage, were physically sick after the arrest. And what if the Brown Empire, once held up as a cultural conversation about plural family love, it lies in smoldering ruins? Property holdings are frozen. Book deals canceled. Janelle's cooking brand has been yanked from shelves. And Meri's wellness retreats, once booked months in advance, have now become the subject of online conspiracy threads questioning if they were ever just that. "We trusted them," wrote one former fan. "We watched them. We cried with them. And now we're left wondering, were we watching a show or unknowingly supporting a nightmare?" Perhaps the greatest tragedy of all is the children, over a dozen caught in the emotional wreckage, many now being interviewed by child protection services. Some are in therapy. Others are refusing to leave their rooms. One reportedly asked, "Is Dad going to take me away too?" Christine, Janelle, and Meri are now working with legal teams to ensure full custody protections and are filing for civil suits against both Kody and Robyn, not just for damages, but for justice. Christine's legal petition includes over 200 pages of documented emotional abuse and financial coercion. One line from her affidavit chills to the bone. "He never needed chains to control us. He just needed faith and silence. And now I see how deadly that was." The public continues to reel, and as the legal saga unfolds, one truth remains unshakably clear. The Brown family, once America's plural sweethearts, are now a cautionary tale of unchecked power, spiritual manipulation, and the quiet evil that can thrive when love is weaponized for control. Kody and Robyn, once revered as the leaders of a modern family, now face a future behind bars. And the rest? They are left to pick up the broken shards of trust, innocence, and family, and pray that someday, healing will be possible. But for Christine, whose life has been shattered beyond recognition, and for the children who may never trust again, the damage may be irreversible. And for the millions who watched, believed, and rooted for love, this is not just a scandal. It's the ultimate betrayal.